So with that, let's invite the top management here and find out what's going on. Mahabaleshwara M S, the MD and CEO of Karnataka Bank, live with us today morning on ET Now. Thank you so much for giving us this interview. It has certainly been a stock that has been in focus, with FIIs also increasing their stake in the bank, to more than 18% now. This is because the markets are convinced about the turnaround story. In fact, if you were to see it, the first half, the bank has delivered strongly with a major improvement when we look at slippages as well as credit cost. Going forward, especially for the second half, what is it that the investors, retail, institutional, analysts can look forward to?
Yeah, bank has been all along focusing on two important drivers. One is the consistency, second one is the sustainability. I'm happy that if you look into the performance of the bank for the last 2 years, we have been totally focused on these two things. Consistency from the point of view of a very decent growth, and sustainability, that whatever that we had promised, we have been able to deliver. As you rightly pointed out, the first half of the current financial year, especially the first quarter as well as the second quarter, has been a turnaround story for Karnataka Bank, because we have been focusing on the growth, the asset quality, as well as the margin. So growth, my priority areas were the low-cost funds, that has been the CASA, wherein we have been growing at a very decent annual growth rate of around 12 to 13%. As a result, at present, we have around 32.82% of our total deposits under CASA. And in the growth, the asset side also, we have been growing at a double digit, and going forward, I think we are all set to grow at a rate of around 15% plus. But of course, we are also keeping close watch on the inflation as well as the global recession factors. But nevertheless, I'm confident that we can grow at a rate of 15% plus, and the ground is all set. But when I say about the growth, the quality of the growth is also equally important, the asset quality. Not only the new acquisitions that we are making in the customer's front, but also the existing advances portfolio. So that means very comfortable in the sense both GNPA and NNPAs are moderating. The stress in the portfolio, most significantly, the stress in the restructured advances portfolio is all moderating. And that is how I am optimistic that we would be able to sustain a margin. See, even though as of September 22, our NIM was at 3.56, I think we should be able to sustain a margin of around 3.4 to 3.5 on account of controlled cost of deposit, better yield on advances, and on account of improved quality of the asset. Yes, definitely it is a challenging period. And nevertheless, I think we are all poised to continue our good show in the days to come as well.
So if you permit me to ask you this one question, you have overseen the turnaround of Karnataka Bank, something that even the stock markets have applauded. But you have decided to move on, and your tenure will come to an end in April 2023. I don't want to ask you why you decided to do that. In the past, you have said it's for personal as well as family reasons. But sir, as someone who has overseen the turnaround of the bank, what will be the larger message when succession planning is underway? A committee has also been set up to find your successor.
The growth story of Karnataka Bank has just begun, because since last 5 years, we have been preparing ourselves for the second century of Karnataka Bank. This is the 99th year, and the next year is our 100th year. That's the centenary year. So we have prepared our bank under our transformation journey to emerge as the strong, vibrant, and digital bank. So that is the strong foundation that we have built. I'm very happy that we have been very reasonably successful in achieving those goals. And having set those targets and having achieved many of them well ahead of time. In fact, we had, as I was referring to the NIM or even to the PCR and all, these were some of the targets that we had originally planned to achieve by March 24, but at least 1 to 1.5 years ahead of our own timeline, we have been able to achieve. So considering that, bank is in a very sweet spot and the new growth story of Karnataka Bank has just begun. And as far as my own term, yes, I am very happy and fortunate to serve this bank for the 2 terms. First 3 years, starting from 2017, and the second term will be ending by April 2023. So I'm very happy to complete those 2 terms. And I consider myself as very fortunate to lead from the front and to take the bank to this level. And as I said, bank is already in a very sweet spot and going forward, very bright future for the bank.
Morning, Mr. Mahabaleshwara. Nikunj Dalmi also joining in.
Hi, Nikunj.
So good to connect with you. The concentration of Karnataka Bank is 30% in MSME and about 15% in agri. That's a very differentiating concentration what you have. Right now it is an opportunity, but if the economy slows down, that also becomes a risk. How would the bank navigate this?
Yeah, see, one is the concentration. It is not the geographical concentration. See, sectoral concentration, whatever that you are saying is correct. But we have been all along a small people's bank, in a sense, financing to the small trades, agriculturists, and all such things. So that is why around 28 to 30% of our portfolio is MSME. In the MSME also, it is widely spread across the different geographies and as well as across various sectors. So keeping that in mind, we are closely focusing on this portfolio, not only for the expansion, but also for its performance. So we have not seen any significant the spots or in the sense areas of concern in the MSME, even though the exposure is at around 28 to 30%. As far as the agriculture is concerned, here also, of course, majority of this exposure is in the state of Karnataka, but other agriculture predominant states also, as well as in different sectors, not only for the crop production area, but also for the various investment and the developmental sectors also in the agri, we have exposure. So I have every reason to believe that since that the area is widespread, we will not be having any major shocks in those areas. Other things what we are now focusing is also this home loan sector as well as the car loans, that is the personal loans. So if you look into the overall advances portfolio of Karnataka Bank, it is widely spread. And that is why even under the global recession, the effect of that is likely to have in the Indian economy also. But I think we are well poised for a decent, healthy growth.
What are you doing to ensure that your liability franchise is not compromised? I mean, Karnataka Bank is now competing
100%.
not with regional banks. You have to compete with private banks who are giving, a different experience of branch connectivity. The millennial perhaps is more tilted towards these private banks rather than traditional private banks. What will you do to ensure the liability franchise is not compromised?
Two important factors where we are focusing while building the liability portfolio is that one is the personalized service at the branches, and the second one is the very, very user-friendly features in our digital products. So both these are being favored by our customers. That is why I'm seeing a very healthy growth in my NTB, new to bank customers, because I'm running this CASA campaign of 100 days. So every day there has been fantastic result across India. And on account of this, CASA franchise is going up. Second one is, yes, there is a rush for the retail term deposits because of the recent interest rate hike in the retail term deposit portfolio also. So we are seeing a good growth in that portfolio also. And that is why I made a point that, yes, going forward, the cost of deposit for the banks is likely to go up, but it all depends on how best we will be in a position to get improvement in the CASA portfolio. So we are optimistic of getting about 34 to 35% of our total advances under CASA going forward. And of course, when we get more and more new customers, that's a fantastic opportunity for us to have the cross-selling as well as the upselling of our various products. So customer stickiness is one thing which is engaging our attention, and of course, duly depending on the needs and the requirements of our customers. So building of this particular liability franchise, because we have a very well-connected branches, not only in the rural areas, but also in the semi-urban, urban, and metro areas. So this is the advantage of a bank like Karnataka Bank, wherein about 22% of my branches are in rural area, 24% in semi-urban, around 26% in urban area, and around 27% or 28% in the metro. So this is the advantage for us. So we can reach out to all those geographies and the sectors. And that is how I said, we are always focused on the consistency and the sustainability and trying my level best to minimize the negative shocks.
Wrap it up with one final question then. Do you see this credit cycle for Karnataka Bank lasting for at least 3 years?
We have prepared the ground like that. So if the economy, when it is expected to grow, the GDP is expected to grow at a rate of 7% or 8%, then naturally the banking system should respond. And that is how I am optimistic that going forward, this whatever that 15% growth for the current year that we have planned, it is going to become stronger and stronger going forward. The only area, depending on the past performance of all the banks, that we bankers have to take care is that quality is not compromised. Nikunja, in many of the forums, I used to tell that these seeds of bad loans are sown during the good times. So this is the golden word for all we bankers. So even though the economy is doing well, we have to be really careful and cautious. And that is how a time-tested bank like Karnataka Bank would perform in the days to come by totally focusing on the growth as well as the quality.
Right, Mr. Mahabaleshwara, great to have you today on ET Now.
Thank
And
you,
here's
sir.
wishing you and your entire team a very happy and prosperous new year from all of us.
Thank you. Same to you.